Something is happening across the world right now. And if you are a Christian, you have probably felt it. Churches are getting quieter. People who grew up in the faith are walking away. Young people who once raised their hands in worship are now raising questions and finding no answers that satisfy them. Research confirms what many are feeling personally. In country after country, the number of people identifying as Christian is declining. A growing category called nones, people with no religious affiliation, is one of the fastest growing groups in the world. So what is happening? Is Christianity failing? Is faith dying out? Or is something else going on that we need to honestly examine? Today we're going to look at the real reasons people are losing faith. Not to shame anyone, not to argue, but to understand and to find a way forward. Reason 1, disappointment with the church. Let's start with the most uncomfortable reason. Many people are not losing faith in God. They are losing faith in the church. The scandals, the hypocrisy, the leaders who preached one thing and lived another, the church that felt more like a business than a family, the congregation that turned cold when you needed them most. This pain is real, and it deserves to be acknowledged honestly. Here is the truth that the Bible itself does not hide. The church has always been made up of imperfect people. Jesus' own disciples argued about who was the greatest. One of them betrayed him for 30 pieces of silver. Another denied knowing him 3 times in one night. The church is not a museum for perfect people. It is a hospital for broken ones. The problem is that many churches have forgotten that and started acting more like exclusive clubs than open doors. But here is the critical distinction that every person walking away needs to hear. The failures of people in the church do not say anything about the character of Jesus. He never changed. He never disappointed. He never let anyone down. If you walked away from a church, that may have been the right move. But walking away from Jesus because of what people did? Reason 2, unanswered questions. The second reason is one that many churches have never learned to handle well. Many people, especially young people, are not walking away because they stopped caring about truth. They are walking away because they started caring more about it. They have real questions about suffering, about science and Genesis, about why a good God would allow evil, about contradictions they think they see in the Bible. And when they bring those questions to their church, they are sometimes met with fear, judgment, or empty phrases. Just have faith. Don't ask questions like that. That is a dangerous line of thinking. So they take their questions to the internet, and the internet is very happy to give them answers, just not always honest or accurate ones. Here is what the Bible actually says about questions. The Psalms are full of anguished questions directed straight at God. Job argued with God for 35 chapters. Jesus himself cried out from the cross, "Why have you forsaken me?" God is not afraid of your questions. In fact, genuine faith is not the absence of questions. It is the willingness to bring those questions to God rather than walking away from Him. A church that cannot handle honest questions will keep losing honest people. Reason 3, the pull of the modern world. We also cannot ignore the environment we are all swimming in. The modern world has been engineered to capture your attention and keep it. Social media algorithms, streaming platforms, constant news cycles. Every device in your pocket is competing for the time and energy that faith requires. Faith has always required intentional effort, prayer, scripture reading, community, stillness, reflection. And in a world designed to eliminate stillness, faith often gets crowded out, not rejected, just slowly neglected. Jesus described this exact pattern in the parable of the sower. He spoke of seed that fell among thorns, and the thorns, he explained, represent the worries of this life and the deceitfulness of wealth that choke the word and make it unfruitful. Many people today are not choosing against God. They're just choosing everything else first every day, until God gets no time at all. The drift happens gradually. A skipped Sunday, a week without prayer, a month without the Bible, and then one day they look up and realize they cannot remember the last time they felt close to God. Reason 4, faith that was never personal. Here is a reason that does not get talked about enough. Many people who are losing faith never actually had their own faith to begin with. They had their parents' faith, their community's faith, their culture's faith. They went to church because that is what their family did. They said the prayers, because that is what was expected. They knew the right words, the right songs, the right answers. But they never had a personal encounter with Jesus that they could call their own. So when life got hard, when they went to university, moved to a new city, faced a crisis, the inherited faith did not survive because it was never truly theirs. The Christian faith was never meant to be inherited like furniture. It has to be chosen. It has to be personal. John 1:12 says, "To all who received him, to those who believed in his name, he gave the right to become children of God." Received, believed, those are active personal words. Nobody can do that on your behalf. With all of this, is there any hope? Yes, more than most people realize. What looks like the death of faith in the West is, in many ways, a purification. The people who are staying because they chose to. The faith that remains is becoming more genuine, more costly, and more real. At the same time, Christianity is exploding in parts of Africa, Asia, and Latin America. The global church is not dying, it is shifting. And even in the places where faith is declining publicly, private spiritual hunger is not going away. People are still searching. They are still longing for meaning, community, purpose, and transcendence. They just need to find something real. If we want to see people return to faith, the church has to be willing to do a few hard things. We need to be honest about our failures, not defensive, not dismissive, honest. People respect accountability. We need to create space for questions, not just easy questions, but hard ones. A faith that cannot survive honest examination is not strong enough to build a life on. If you are someone who has drifted, who has walked away, or who is quietly questioning, this message is for you. Your doubts are not the end of the story. Your pain with the church does not have to be the final word. Your questions do not have to go unanswered forever. I want to hear from you. What is one reason you have seen people walking away from faith? Drop it in the comments. Let's have an honest conversation. Share this video if you think someone needs to hear it, and subscribe for more content like this.